I never asked to be the keeper of secrets, but here I am, caught in a web of lies that's tightening around me with every passing day. My name's Ellie, and this mess started last weekend, though the roots of it go back further, to the moment my sister Tara started dating Jake. Jake's the kind of guy who thinks charm is a personality. He's got this lazy grin, all teeth and confidence, and he wields it like a weapon. From the first time Tara brought him to our family dinner, I didn't trust him. His hugs lingered too long. His compliments felt like fishing lines cast for a reaction. "Ellie, you're looking sharp tonight," he'd say, winking like we were in on some private joke. I'd smile tightly and change the subject. Tara, though, she was smitten. She'd laugh off his flirtations, call him harmless, and tell me I was too uptight. So, I kept my mouth shut. For her. Last Saturday, I was at the Rusty Anchor, a dive bar downtown where the music's loud and the lighting's forgiving. I was there with a loose crew, friends, acquaintances, the kind of group that forms when you're 25 and still figuring out who your people are. I was sipping a gin and tonic, half listening to some guy ramble about his band, when I saw them. Across the bar, in a dim booth, Jake was tangled up with a girl. Not just a casual lean-in, but full-on, hands in hair, lips locked making out. My stomach dropped like I'd missed a step on a staircase. The girl was Mia. Not my closest friend, but close enough. We'd bonded over late-night tacos and bad reality TV, the kind of friendship that's easy and unforced. She was laughing into Jake's kiss, her fingers curled around his collar, oblivious to the bomb she was sitting on. I stood there, frozen, my drink sweating in my hand. Jake didn't see me, but I saw every detail. The way he tilted her chin, the way she melted into him. It wasn't a drunken mistake. It was deliberate, practiced, like he'd done this before. I slipped out of the bar before they could spot me, my pulse hammering. The night air hit me like a slap, but it didn't clear my head. All I could think was, Tara, Mia, what the hell do I do? By Monday, I was a wreck. I'd barely slept, replaying that booth scene like a movie I couldn't pause. Tara called me that morning, chirping about some new recipe she and Jake were trying for dinner. "He's so sweet, Elle," she said. "He brought me flowers yesterday, just because." I wanted to scream. Instead, I mumbled something about work and hung up. Then there was Mia. We met for coffee Tuesday, and she was all smiles, gushing about this amazing guy she'd met. "He's so funny, Ellie. Like, I haven't laughed that hard in forever." My throat burned. She had no idea Jake was Tara's boyfriend, and why would she? I'd never brought it up. Mia wasn't part of Tara's world. I nodded along, stirring my latte until it was cold, feeling like a coward. The worst part? Jake. I saw him twice that week, once at Tara's place, where he sprawled on her couch like he owned it, and once at a mutual friend's game night. Both times, he acted like nothing had happened. "Yo, Ellie, pass the chips," he'd say, flashing that grin. His eyes met mine, and I swear there was a challenge in them, like he knew I'd seen him and was daring me to say something. I didn't. Not yet. But every time he spoke, my grip on my phone tightened until my knuckles went white. I'm not a confrontational person. Tara's the one who thrives on drama, who'll argue with a brick wall and win. Me? I overthink. I weigh every angle until I'm paralyzed. But this I can't ignore. Tara deserves to know her boyfriend's a snake. Mia deserves to know she's not the only one he's charming. But the fallout terrifies me. Tara's defensive streak is legendary. The last time I criticized one of her boyfriends, she didn't speak to me for a month. Called me judgmental. Said I was jealous. And Mia, she's sweet, but she's fragile. I don't know if she'll blame me for not warning her sooner. I'm leaning toward telling them both. Rip the band-aid off, let the explosion come. But I keep imagining Tara's face, the way it crumples when she's hurt, or Mia's voice cracking as she asks why I didn't say something that night. I keep picturing Jake's smug grin, untouched by the chaos he's caused. It's eating me alive, this secret. I don't know how much longer I can carry it. It's been a week since I saw him kissing Mia at the Rusty Anchor, betraying my sister Tara and playing my friend like a fool. I've spent 7 days dodging their calls, faking smiles, and losing sleep, but I can't keep this up. The truth's clawing its way out, and I'm done stalling. It started with Mia. I asked her to meet me at Brew and Bean, the coffee shop we've always liked for its cozy corners and strong lattes. My hands were shaking as I stirred sugar into my cup, waiting for her to show up. When she did, her smile was so bright it made my stomach twist. "Ellie, you look stressed," she said, sliding into the booth. "Work got you down?" I took a deep breath, the kind you take before diving into cold water. "Mia, it's not work. It's about the guy you've been seeing, Jake." Her eyebrows shot up, curious, not alarmed, not yet. I forced the words out. "He's Tara's boyfriend. They've been together for almost a year. I saw you two at the bar last weekend, and I didn't know how to tell you." The color drained from her face. Her fingers, wrapped around her coffee mug, went still. "What?" she whispered, like she hadn't heard me right. I repeated it softer, hating every syllable. Then her eyes welled up, and I felt like the worst person alive. "He told me he was single," she said, her voice cracking. "He said he'd just moved here, that he was starting fresh." I thought. She stopped, swallowing hard. "You're sure it's him?" I nodded, pulling out my phone to show her a photo from Tara's birthday last month. Jake with his arm around my sister, grinning like he hadn't a care in the world. Mia stared at it, tears spilling over. "I'm so sorry, Mia," I said. "I should have told you sooner." She shook her head, wiping her face. "It's not your fault. He's the liar." But then she looked at me, her eyes sharp through the tears. "Why didn't you say something that night? You saw us and you just left." I froze. The question hit like a punch. I was in shock, I admitted. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't want to ruin things for you or Tara without thinking it through. It sounded weak, even to me. Mia didn't yell, didn't storm out. She just nodded, like she was too tired to fight. "I need to think," she said, grabbing her bag. "Thanks for telling me, I guess." And then she was gone, leaving me with a half-cold coffee and a sinking feeling I'd just lost a friend. Telling Tara was harder. I knew it would be. She's my big sister, fierce and loyal, but she's got a blind spot for guys like Jake. I went to her apartment that evening, my heart pounding like I was walking into a lion's den. She was in the kitchen, chopping vegetables, humming to some pop song. Jake wasn't there. Thank God. "Elle, you want wine?" she called, not looking up. "Tara, we need to talk," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. She turned, knife in hand, her eyes narrowing. "What's with the serious face?" I didn't sugarcoat it. "I saw Jake at the Rusty Anchor last weekend. He was making out with another girl. Like, full on." "I'm so sorry, but you need to know." For a second, she just stared, the knife hovering over a carrot. Then she laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. "You're joking, right? Jake? Come on, Ellie, you've never liked him." Her voice had that edge, the one that says don't push me. "I'm not joking," I said, holding her gaze. "I saw it. The girl was Mia, my friend. She didn't know he was with you. I told her today, and she's wrecked. Tara, he's playing you both." The knife clattered onto the counter. Her face went from disbelief to fury in a heartbeat. "You told your friend before you told me?" she snapped. "What, you think you get to play judge and jury with my life? You always do this, Ellie. Stick your nose where it doesn't belong." "Tara, I'm trying to protect you." I shot back, my own temper flaring. "He's a cheat. He's been lying to you, and I couldn't just sit there and let it happen." She crossed her arms, her jaw tight. "Maybe you saw wrong. Maybe it wasn't even him. You're so quick to tear him down, but you don't know him like I do." Her voice wobbled, and I realized she wasn't just angry. She was scared. Scared I was right. I softened my tone. "Tara, I know this sucks. I didn't want to hurt you, but I saw him." Mia confirmed it. "He's not who you think he is." She turned away, gripping the counter. "Get out," she said, so quiet I barely heard her. "I need to think." "Just go." I left, my chest aching. The door clicked shut behind me, and I stood in the hallway, feeling like I'd just set fire to my family. That night, I couldn't sleep. My phone stayed silent, no texts from Tara, no apologies from Mia. Just me, alone with the fallout. The next morning, I woke to a message from Mia. "Talked to Jake. He admitted it, said it was a mistake. I'm done with him. Thanks for being honest." Relief hit me, but it was short-lived. Tara still hadn't called, and I knew she wouldn't until she'd confronted Jake herself. I could picture it, her yelling, him spinning lies, that grin of his never faltering. I'm sitting in my apartment now, staring at my phone, waiting for the next explosion. I did the right thing, I think, but it doesn't feel like a victory. It feels like I've cracked something precious, and I don't know if Tara and I can glue it back together. As for Jake, I hope he's sweating, knowing his house of cards is collapsing. But guys like him always seem to land on their feet, don't they? All I know is, I'm not done fighting for my sister, even if she hates me for it. I thought the truth would set things right, but it's only made everything worse. It's been 3 days since I told Tara about Jake cheating with Mia. 3 days since she kicked me out of her apartment. I expected her to confront him, to see him for the snake he is. Instead, she's still with him. I found out this morning when she posted a photo on Instagram, her and Jake, smiling at some brunch spot, captioned with a heart emoji. My stomach churned. She didn't just forgive him. She's doubling down. Mia's out of the picture, at least. She's blocked Jake on everything and sent me a short text yesterday. I'm okay. Just need space. Thanks again. It's a small relief, knowing she's free of him, but it doesn't fix the mess with Tara. My sister hasn't answered my calls or texts. I've left voicemails, sent messages saying I'm sorry for how it came out, but not for telling the truth. Nothing. It's like I don't exist. Then Jake came for me. It was late afternoon, and I was leaving the bookstore where I work part-time. The air was crisp, the kind of April day that tricks you into thinking winter's gone for good. I was halfway to my car when I heard his voice. Ellie, hold up. I turned, and there he was, leaning against a street lamp like some wannabe movie villain. Jake's grin was gone, replaced by a hard, calculating look I hadn't seen before. His hands were stuffed in his jacket pockets, but his posture screamed tension. My heart kicked into overdrive. What do you want? I asked, keeping my voice steady. You've been busy, he said, stepping closer. Stirring up trouble, running your mouth. You think you're some kind of hero, don't you? I crossed my arms, refusing to back up. I told the truth. You cheated on Tara with Mia. You don't get to play the victim here. He laughed, but it was cold, sharp. Truth? You think Tara cares about your truth? She's with me, Ellie, not you. She knows what's good for her, and it's not her meddling little sister trying to wreck her life. My nails dug into my palms. You're the one wrecking her life. You lied to her, to Mia, to everyone. How do you even sleep at night? His eyes narrowed, and he took another step, close enough that I could smell his cologne. Too strong and too sweet. Here's the deal, he said, his voice low, like we were sharing a secret. You're gonna stop this crusade. No more texts, no more voicemails, no more playing detective. You leave me and Tara alone, or I'll make sure you regret it. A chill ran through me, not just from the words, but the way he said them, calm, like he'd already decided what he'd do if I didn't listen. What's that supposed to mean? I asked, hating how small my voice sounded. He tilted his head, studying me. You're smart, Ellie. Figure it out. I know where you work, where you hang out. I know your little routines. You don't want to find out what happens if you keep pushing me. He paused, letting that sink in, then flashed that grin, the one I'd always hated. Be a good sister. Let Tara be happy. I wanted to scream, to shove him, to call him out right there on the sidewalk. But something in his eyes stopped me, a glint of something darker than I'd expected, something that made my skin crawl. I stood there, frozen, as he turned and walked away, hands still in his pockets, whistling like he hadn't just threatened me. I got in my car, locked the doors, and sat there, my hands shaking on the steering wheel. My mind was racing. Jake wasn't just a cheat. He was dangerous. I'd always thought his charm was sleazy, but this was different. This was control, manipulation, and I had no idea how deep it went. Was Tara safe with him? Did she even know who she was sleeping next to? I drove home, checking my rearview mirror every few seconds, half expecting to see his car tailing me. My apartment felt too quiet, too exposed. I double-checked the locks, then sank onto the couch, my phone in my hand. I wanted to call Tara, to warn her, but what could I say? Your boyfriend just threatened me, and I think he's unhinged? She wouldn't believe me. She'd call it another one of my overreactions. And Jake would twist it, make me the villain again. But I can't let this go. Not now. Not when I know what he's capable of. I keep replaying his words. I know where you work, where you hang out. It wasn't just a threat. It was a promise. And yet, the thought of backing down, of letting him win, makes my blood boil. Tara's my sister. She's stubborn and blind right now, but she's family, and I won't let Jake hurt her or me. I'm not sure what to do next. Part of me wants to go to the police, but what would I say? He didn't touch me, didn't name a specific threat. It's his word against mine, and with Tara on his side, I'd look like the crazy one. Another part of me wants to confront him again, record it, get proof of who he really is. But that glint in his eyes keeps flashing in my mind, warning me to tread carefully. For now, I'm keeping my eyes open. I changed my route home from work, started locking my car doors the second I get in. I'm not telling Mia yet, she's still healing, and I don't want to drag her back into this. But I'm not giving up. Jake thinks he can scare me into silence, but he's wrong. I'm scared, yeah, but I'm also angry. And if he wants to play this game, I'll play it smarter. For Tara. For me. I'm done waiting for Jake to ruin my sister's life. Or mine. His threat outside the bookstore lit a fire in me, one that's been burning through my fear and doubt. Tara's still with him, posting photos like everything's perfect, but I know the truth. He's a predator, and I'm not letting him sink his claws deeper into her. I decided to act, to find a way to expose him for good. But what happened tonight? It's left me shaking, my skin crawling, and a fear so raw I can barely breathe. I started with a plan. Jake's too careful to slip up in public again, so I needed evidence, something Tara couldn't ignore. I remembered Tara mentioning Jake's late-night errands, how he'd leave her apartment after she fell asleep. She thought it was work, but I wasn't buying it. Last night, I parked across the street from her building, hidden in the shadows of a side street, and waited. My phone was charged, camera ready, my heart pounding like a drum. Around 1 he slipped out, hoodie up, moving fast. I followed at a distance, my car creeping along the quiet streets. He didn't go far, just to a dive bar a few blocks away. Not the Rusty Anchor, but a grungier spot called the Black Dog. Through the window, I saw him meet a woman, not Mia, someone new. They were close, his hand on her lower back, her laugh too loud. I snapped photos, my hands shaky but steady enough. It wasn't a smoking gun, but it was something proof he was still playing games. I planned to show Tara the photos today, to sit her down and make her listen. But Jake must have known I was getting close, because he came for me first. It was evening, and I was home alone, sorting through the photos on my laptop. My apartment was quiet, just the hum of the fridge and the distant buzz of city noise. I'd locked the door, like always, but I didn't hear him until it was too late. A knock, sharp and insistent. I froze, thinking it was a neighbor, but then I heard his voice through the door. "Ellie, open up. We need to talk." My blood went cold. I didn't answer, hoping he'd leave, but the knob rattled, and then, somehow, the door swung open. I'd forgotten to chain it, a stupid mistake. Jake stood there, his silhouette filling the doorway, that grin of his twisted into something darker. "You've been busy," he said, stepping inside and closing the door behind him. The click of the lock echoed like a gunshot. "Get out," I said, standing, my voice sharper than I felt. My phone was on the couch, too far to grab. My laptop screen glowed with the photos from last night, and his eyes flicked to it, then back to me. He knew. "You don't listen, do you?" he said, his voice low, almost amused. He moved closer, and I backed up, my hip hitting the edge of the kitchen counter. "I told you to leave us alone. Tara's happy. Why can't you let her have that?" "You're a liar," I spat, my heart hammering. "I saw you last night. Another girl, another bar. I have proof, and I'm showing Tara." His face changed then, the amusement gone, replaced by something feral. He lunged, faster than I expected, and grabbed my wrists, pinning them against the counter. His grip was iron, bruising, and I gasped, struggling to pull free. "You think you're so smart," he hissed, his face inches from mine, his breath hot and sour. "You think you can ruin me?" I tried to scream, but he clamped a hand over my mouth, his other hand twisting my arm until I whimpered. Then he kissed me hard, invasive, his lips crushing mine like he was claiming something. It wasn't desire, it was power, meant to humiliate, to terrify. I thrashed, kicking at his shins, but he was stronger, his body pressing me against the counter, his weight suffocating. His tongue forced its way past my lips, and I gagged, tears stinging my eyes. I thought, this is it. He's going to. But then he stopped, pulled back, just enough to look at me, his eyes gleaming with sick satisfaction. My lips burned, my wrists ached, and I was trembling. But he wasn't done. He leaned in, his voice a whisper. Next time, I won't stop. You tell Tara, you show her those photos, and I'll make sure you regret it. I'll make sure you're begging me to stop. He let go, stepping back, that grin creeping back onto his face. I slid to the floor, gasping, my hands shaking as I wiped my mouth, trying to erase the feel of him. He didn't say another word, just turned and walked out, leaving the door ajar like he didn't care who saw. I don't know how long I sat there, curled against the counter, my breath hitching. My skin felt wrong, like it wasn't mine anymore. I wanted to shower, to scrub him off, but I couldn't move. All I could think was, he wanted me to feel this. This fear, this helplessness. He didn't finish what he started, not because he had a conscience, but because this was worse. The threat of what he could do, hanging over me like a blade. I finally crawled to my phone, my hands clumsy as I dialed 911. But I hung up before it connected. What would I say? He didn't rape me. He didn't hit me. The bruises on my wrists are faint, already fading. It's my word against his, and Tara's still on his side. The police would see a hysterical girl and a charming guy with a clean record. I know how this works, but I'm not giving up. Jake thinks he's broken me, that I'll stay quiet now. He's wrong. I copied the photos to a USB drive, hid it in my sock drawer. I'm changing my locks tomorrow, and I'm buying pepper spray. I'll find a way to get to Tara, to make her see the monster she's with. I'm scared, God, I'm terrified, but I'm not letting him win. Not after this. He crossed a line tonight, and I'm going to make sure it's the last one he ever crosses. Fear Jake left me with that night in my apartment didn't break me, it forged me. His hands on my wrists, his lips forcing mine. The threat in his whispered words, they're seared into me, but they're not chains. They're fuel. He thinks he's untouchable, that he can scare me into silence and keep Tara under his spell. He's wrong. I'm done playing defense. This is my revenge, and I'm going to unravel him, piece by piece. The first thing I did was secure myself. I got a new deadbolt for my apartment door, a chain lock, and a can of pepper spray that lives in my bag now. I started varying my routes to work, checking my mirrors, locking my car the second I'm inside. I'm not naive enough to think Jake's done with me, but I'm not giving him an easy target. Every night, I check the USB drive hidden in my sock drawer, the one with the photos of him with that woman at the Black Dog. It's my insurance, but it's not enough. Tara won't believe a few blurry pictures, not when she's so deep in his lies. I need more, something undeniable. My plan took shape over a sleepless week, pieced together in the quiet hours when the world felt too still. Jake's power comes from his charm, his ability to spin stories that make people trust him. Tara's bought into it, and so have others. But guys like him always have cracks in their facade, secrets they think are buried. I decided to dig. If I could find proof of who he really is, more women, more lies, maybe worse, I could show Tara the truth and make sure Jake pays. I started with research. Jake's not as careful as he thinks. His social media's public, full of gym selfies and vague inspirational quotes, but it's a gold mine if you know where to look. I scrolled through his followers, cross-referencing names with posts, looking for patterns. That's how I found Lauren, a woman who commented on his photos months ago, before Tara. Her profile was private, but her LinkedIn wasn't. She worked at a marketing firm downtown, and her posts hinted at a bad breakup last year, vague mentions of toxic people, and learning to trust again. It was a long shot, but I sent her a message, careful and neutral. Hey, I'm looking into someone you might know. Jake Carter. Trying to help a friend. Can we talk? To my surprise, she replied within hours. We met at a quiet cafe the next day, a place far from Tara's neighborhood. Lauren was in her late 20s, polished but guarded, her eyes scanning the room before settling on me. "What's this about Jake?" she asked, her voice tight. I took a deep breath. "My sister's dating him. I think he's cheating, maybe worse. I saw your comments on his posts, and I wondered if you knew something." She stared at her coffee, her fingers tapping the mug. Then she spoke, low and deliberate. "Jake and I dated for 6 months. He was charming at first, flowers, compliments, the whole act. But he got controlling. He'd show up at my work unannounced, go through my phone, accuse me of flirting with other guys. When I tried to leave, he'd cry, say he couldn't live without me. Then he'd get mean." She paused, her jaw tight. "The last straw was when he grabbed me during an argument. Not a hit, but hard enough to scare me. I got out, blocked him, moved on. But he's not safe, Ellie. Your sister needs to know." My heart pounded. It was exactly what I'd feared and hoped to hear. "Did he ever cheat?" I asked. She nodded. "I found texts from other women. He swore they were just friends, but I didn't buy it. He's good at covering his tracks, though. You'll need more than my word." That's when I knew my plan needed teeth. Lauren gave me another lead. Jake's old coworker, Ryan, who'd seen him hit on clients at their sales job. I tracked Ryan down through a mutual friend, and he was less hesitant than Lauren. "Over beers at a sports bar," he spilled. "Jake's a sleaze," Ryan said, rolling his eyes. "He'd brag about juggling girls, said it was strategy. He got fired for skimming client accounts, too. Shady as hell. Skimming accounts. That was new." I pressed Ryan for details, and he mentioned a company audit that caught Jake funneling small amounts into a personal account. No charges were filed. The company didn't want the PR hit, but Jake was out the door. If I could get proof of that, it wasn't just cheating, it was criminal. I spent the next 2 days digging online, using public records and some less-than-legal forums to find traces of Jake's financial trail. I'm no hacker, but I'm stubborn, and I found a breadcrumb, an old bank account linked to a Shell LLC, mentioned in a buried Reddit thread about shady sales reps. It wasn't airtight, but it was enough to take to Tara, along with Lauren's story and Ryan's testimony. Tonight, I'm preparing to confront her. I've compiled everything into a folder. The photos from the black dog, screenshots of Lauren's messages, Ryan's contact info, and notes on the LLC. I'm going to Tara's apartment while Jake's at his gym session. I checked his Instagram stories to be sure. My hands are steady as I pack the folder into my bag, but my pulse is racing. This is it. If Tara doesn't believe me now, I don't know what's left. But there's a part of me that's ready for Jake to come after me again. The pepper spray's in my pocket, my phone set to record with one tap. He tried to break me once, with his hands, his threats, his violation of my space. He didn't succeed. Now I'm coming for him, and I'm not stopping until he's exposed, not just to Tara, but to everyone he's hurt. This isn't just revenge, it's justice. And I'm ready to fight dirty to get it. Tonight's the night I end Jake's reign over my sister's life and mine. The folder in my bag feels like a bomb, packed with evidence of his lies, his cheating, his crimes. Photos from the black dog, Lauren's story of his controlling abuse, Ryan's account of his shady deals, and the paper trail of that sketchy LLC. It's all there, undeniable. I've spent weeks building this case, fueled by anger and the memory of Jake's hands on me, his lips forcing mine, his threats ringing in my ears. He thought he could scare me into silence. Tonight, Tara's going to see who he really is, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. I timed it carefully. Jake's at one of his late-night gym sessions. His Instagram story showed him flexing in a mirror an hour ago. Tara's home, alone, and I texted her to say I was coming over, no details, just we need to talk. She didn't reply, but I know she's there. My heart's pounding as I climb the stairs to her apartment, my bag heavy with the folder and the weight of what I'm about to do. Pepper spray's in my pocket, my phone set to record audio with one tap. I'm not taking chances. Tara opens the door, her face guarded, arms crossed. "What's this about, Ellie?" she asks, her voice sharp. "If it's about Jake again, it is." I cut in, stepping inside before she can shut me out. "But you're going to listen this time." Her apartment smells like lavender candles, and the sight of Jake's jacket slung over a chair makes my skin crawl. I set the folder on her kitchen table, my hands steady despite the adrenaline. Sit down, please. She hesitates, then sits, her eyes flicking to the folder like it might bite. I start slow, laying out the photos first. Jake with the woman at the black dog, his hand on her back, their faces too close. Tara's jaw tightens, but she doesn't speak. Next, I read from Lauren's messages, her words about Jake's controlling grip, his rage when she tried to leave. Tara's fingers curl into fists. Then Ryan's story, Jake's bragging about juggling girls, his firing for skimming client accounts. Finally, I slide over the printouts about the LLC, the Reddit thread hinting at his financial scams. This is who he is, Tara, I say, my voice low but firm. He's not just cheating. He's dangerous. He hurt Lauren, he's lying to you, and I pause, my throat tight. He came to my apartment, pinned me down, kissed me, threatened me. He wanted me to stay quiet. I'm telling you this because I love you, and I can't let him hurt you anymore. Tara's face crumples, not with tears, but with something raw, betrayal, maybe, or the slow death of denial. You're lying, she whispers, but it's weak, like she's trying to convince herself. He wouldn't. He said you were jealous, that you made it all up. I'm not lying, I say, holding her gaze. Look at the evidence. Call Lauren. Talk to Ryan. Check the LLC yourself. He's a predator, Tara, and he's banking on you not believing me. She stares at the folder, her hands shaking as she flips through the pages. Then she stops, her eyes locked on a photo of Jake at the black dog, the timestamp clear. Her voice breaks. This was last week. He told me he was working late. She looks up, tears spilling over. Why didn't I see it? I reach for her hand, but before I can, the door swings open. Jake. He's back early, his gym bag slung over his shoulder, his grin faltering when he sees me. What's this? He asks, his tone light but his eyes hard, darting to the folder. Tara stands, clutching a photo. Is this you? She demands, her voice trembling. Were you with her last week? Jake's grin vanishes. He drops his bag, stepping closer. Babe, come on, that's nothing. Ellie's twisting it, like always. He glares at me, and I feel that familiar chill, but I don't flinch. My hand's in my pocket, thumb on the pepper spray. She's not twisting anything, Tara snaps, throwing the photo at him. You lied to me. You're cheating, you're stealing, God, Jake, who are you? His face darkens, and he rounds the table, ignoring Tara. He's coming for me. You couldn't leave it alone, could you? He growls, his voice low, lethal. I warned you, Ellie. I back up, my heart racing, but there's nowhere to go. The counter's behind me. Tara screams, Jake, stop, but he's too fast. He grabs my arm, yanking me toward him, his other hand gripping my jaw, forcing my face up. You're gonna wish you kept your mouth shut, he hisses, his breath hot, his fingers digging into my skin. I don't think, I act. My free hand pulls the pepper spray, and I aim for his eyes, pressing the trigger. He roars, stumbling back, clawing at his face. Tara's screaming, I'm shaking, but I'm not done. I hit record on my phone, shouting, You're done, Jake. You attacked me, you threatened me, and it's all here. He lunges again, blind with rage, tears streaming from his red eyes, but Tara throws herself between us, shoving him hard. Get away from her, she yells, her voice raw. He staggers, cursing, and I seize the moment, grabbing my phone and dialing 911. He's attacking us, I say, my voice steady despite the chaos. Apartment 4B, 127, Oak Street. Hurry! Jake freezes, his hands still rubbing his eyes, realization hitting. He bolts for the door, but Tara's faster. She slams it shut, leaning against it, her face fierce through her tears. You're not going anywhere, she says, and I've never been prouder of her. The police arrive in minutes, their boots heavy on the stairs. Jake's cornered, still coughing from the spray, his charm useless now. I hand over my phone, the recording clear, his threats, his attack, all of it. Tara's shaking as she tells them about the folder, the cheating, the lies. I show them the bruises on my arm, faint but real, from his grip. They cuff him, his head bowed, no grin left. As they lead him out, he doesn't look at me, but I feel his defeat like a weight lifting. Tara collapses into my arms, sobbing. I'm so sorry, she says over and over. I should have listened. I almost lost you. I hold her tight, my own tears falling. It's over, but it doesn't feel like victory, not yet. It feels like survival. Later, at the station, we give our statements. The folders with the police now, and they're looking into the LLC, the skimming, everything. Lauren's agreed to testify, and Ryan's ready to talk. Jake's not just facing assault charges. His whole world's unraveling. Tara's deleted every photo of him, blocked his number, and promised to get a restraining order. She's broken, but she's free. I'm back in my apartment now, the new locks gleaming, the folder gone but its impact echoing. I'm still shaking, still feeling his hands, his voice, but I'm not afraid anymore. Jake thought he could control us, break us. He was wrong. Tara and I are stronger than he ever was, and will rebuild together.